Good morning, everyone. I'd like to thank you all for coming today. I know you're very busy, and to come and hear me talk about Freescale, I really appreciate you taking the time today. Okay, so the title of our presentation is Powering a Smarter Future Today. For those of you who may not be familiar with Freescale, Freescale has over 50 years experience in semiconductors, originating from the Motorola family. We've got over 5,000 engineers and over 6,000 patents to support our technology and our innovation over the years. Our strategy as a company has 5 components. One is microcontrollers for the mass market, digital networking, automotive microcontrollers, analog and sensors, and RF. And of those 5 core product groups, our primary focuses are microcontrollers for automotive and mass market and digital networking. RF, analog, and sensors are complementary products that we attach with our microcontrollers and our digital networking solutions. We're focused on 4 primary markets: automotive, networking, industrial, and consumer. So just a quick overview on Freescale's financials. Despite the challenging environment from 2011 to 2012, Freescale's revenue in 2012 was just under $4 billion. So given the economic uncertainty of 2012 with the debt crisis in Europe and other issues in America, Freescale's performance was slightly better than industry expectations and consistent with those of our peer companies. Our operating earnings were $461 million in 2012 with a gross margin of 42%. Having been a participant in a leveraged buyout, Freescale continues to service its debt, and in 2012 we reduced our corporate debt by $200 million, that thereby decreasing our interest expense by $40 million per year. And lastly, we have over $700 million in cash to sustain our business operations. Okay, so Freescale Semiconductor Korea. As you can see from the chart on the left here, significant growth expectations for the Korea market for Freescale. Of course, the Korean market in general is growing quite fast, but Freescale within the Korean market is growing at a faster pace than the market and at a faster pace than our competitors. And of course, as you look at these bars in red and you see significant double-digit growth every year, that's not a Freescale Korea dream, that's a Freescale Korea reality. Being a part of the embedded semiconductor industry, we win business today for revenue 2 years from today, or 3 years from today, or 4 years from today. So we can have a very clear picture of what our revenues will look like in 2015. And I can tell you with confidence that our revenue from 2012 to 2015 will double. So the question, I would guess, for most of you is how? How is Freescale Korea going to grow this quickly? Well, part of it is by hiring great people. We have a great team, but that team is not big enough today. And so one of the purposes of our press conference today is to tell all of you that we are looking for superheroes. We are looking day and night and interviewing morning and breakfast and dinner and late night to find the best possible people to be a part of our Freescale Korea organization, to be able to satisfy, if not thrill, our customers in Korea. And I think one of the keys to not only Freescale's growth in Korea, but our growth worldwide, is leveraging Korea's strength in technology. Automotive, networking, consumer. Korea has proven itself to be a world leader in innovation, a world leader in new technology and new applications. So it's my hope that with the help of the Freescale Korea team and the Korean customers and partners, we'll be able to take some of the great technology born in Korea and bring that technology to the rest of the world. Historically, Freescale has made investments in Korea, but one of the reasons why I'm here, one of the reasons why I'll be involved with Freescale's business in Korea, is to really make sure that our corporation at the headquarters level is investing more in Korea, that Korea has its own standalone existence within our corporation. In the past, Korea was a part of Asia Pacific. Today, Korea is a standalone, independent marketplace, getting the same level of attention as any other marketplace for Freescale. And so it's my hope that we'll be able to make the right investments in Korea, make much more investment in Korea, and that's not just about people. You see, some of the things we've done here, we have a program called Designing with Freescale. We do training sessions for students as well as for engineers. And we have university programs for many years. I think Korea was the first market in the world where Freescale launched its smart car program. And I believe that 11 years ago, now there are hundreds of teams participating in the smart car program. And it's an opportunity for university students to have a hands-on experience with a microcontroller and create a robot car, creating the software themselves. And it's become a global program, and it's an innovation that Freescale first experienced in Korea that we've taken globally. In 2012, over 300 students worked side by side with Freescale engineers as well as their university colleagues and professors to build robot cars using a Freescale microcontroller. And we continue to look for other ways to give back to the Korean community and to the Korean engineers and students. And one of the things, as I mentioned before, is a focus on hiring at Freescale Korea, and one of those focuses is on hiring new college graduates. And lastly, with regards to university programs, and one that we're very proud of is the humanoid robot project at Hwang-Un University, which is in its, how many years have we been doing that?
Now it's 2 years.
Yeah, so we're entering our third year of that program, and it's a very exciting program. As you know, robotics have been a dream of humankind for many years, and now with the advent of new semiconductor technologies and new software capabilities and other innovations, the era of the robot is close at hand. Okay, so a little bit about automotive. The cars of the past had approximately $12 of microcontroller content inside them. The cars of tomorrow, and this, and that's specifically to the in-car network. Of course, there's much more microcontroller content in a vehicle today, but if you just look at the communication between all the different components of a car, there's $12 in microcontrollers in past cars, but the future cars, just for the communication between all the different devices in the car, whether it's a radar system or a braking system or a tire pressure management system, the future has an expansion of the content by over 4 times just for the automotive networking. But as we move into hybrid and electric vehicles, the content of semiconductors in a vehicle actually will increase by a factor of 8. And as innovation continues, luxury hybrid vehicles of the future will have semiconductor content approaching $500 per vehicle. So Freescale, we are well positioned to claim the #1 market share, and that comes from 3 different aspects. Freescale today is defining products, designing products, and building products in Asia Pacific for Asia Pacific customers. Rather than taking products designed for the US market or for the European market and trying to sell those into very different markets in Asia, today Freescale builds for Asia, designs for Asia, manufactures for Asia in Asia. And in this case, Asia Pacific includes Korea and Japan.
네, 이 경우에는 아시아투명에서 한국과 일본을 포함하고 있습니다.
Okay, the other reason why I think Freescale is well positioned to take #1 market share is our ARM portfolio. Today, Freescale has the largest portfolio of ARM products with over 1,000 products, from high performance down to low performance, Cortex M0 Plus all the way up to Cortex A57. So it's a very broad portfolio, and it gives engineers the exact product they need for their specific usage case. And just to give you a little color there, a Cortex A57 is the type of chip that would go into a high-end infotainment system or a high-end tablet. A M0 Plus chip would be the type of thing that you might have in a wristwatch. So from very simple microcontrollers up to very powerful microcontrollers is our portfolio. And as I mentioned previously, the key here is not just having the best microcontroller or semiconductor technology, it's also having the best tools, the best software to enable that semiconductor technology. And that's one of the reasons why I really want us to focus on growing our ecosystem with Korean software and tool partners, as well as introducing and continuing to provide our in-house tools like the operating system MQX, mature SDKs, and a software application called Code Warrior, which is used throughout the industry for designing software onto our microcontrollers. I'm not going to explain this entire slide, but I will tell you this is just a roadmap from 1952 when Motorola created its first power resistor to 2012 when we introduced the Koriba line of microcontrollers. A long history of innovation, of leading the industry, and a tradition that we intend to continue for the long term. So now things get a little bit more technical. Go ahead. You can tell them that.
네, 앞으로 조금 이제 앞으로 나오는 슬라이드는 좀 더 기술적인 슬라이드가 준비가 되어 있습니다.
So RCP, or redistributed chip packaging, is a Freescale proprietary technology, and it is an advancement on SIP, or system in package. One of the big differences between RCP and system in package is its ability to handle higher temperatures, so it can be used in far more applications. But what this really means is, as you can see, that chip right there is the size of a US quarter, but that chip could contain a camera system, a radar system, power management IC, memory, everything needed to run an entire system. Today you might have a 6-inch board with 15 to 20 different chips on it. RCP is about putting all those chips into a single package and thereby removing all the wiring, all the latency involved with communicating between the different chips, and also then getting much better power efficiency. Another technology advancement that is absolutely necessary for semiconductor technology, as well as the end users who turn those into consumer products, is capacitor and package. And just to make it simple, because this diagram is kind of complicated, the capacitor is where the energy is stored. And today in most computer systems or devices, that energy storage is not on the chip, it's somewhere off the chip. And as the speed of our MCUs or our microprocessors gets faster over a gigahertz, going out to get that energy and having that energy come back, that round trip distance, it becomes the bottleneck in the system. So bringing the storage of energy to the package removes the bottleneck that occurs over 1 gigahertz in processing speed. So as it says up here, it reduces the distance between the die and the PCB. So there's removing the bottleneck in performance, but then also it's about reducing cost. For each PCB layer, you've got costs that are incurred by the manufacturer. This reduces the number of PCB layers, which means reduces the cost to make us our products, and it reduces the need for external capacitors, which also then reduces the cost. So everybody wants lower and lower prices. Freescale is focused on finding lower cost solutions at higher performance. And for those of you who might not know, PCB means printed circuit board, and it's in every one of the devices that you're touching right now.
네, PCB 약자를 말씀드리면 인쇄 활용 기판이고요. 디바이스에서 많이 사용이 되는 기판입니다.
Okay, so as I mentioned before, RCP leads to a much more cost-effective, space-efficient solution, and one of those concepts that is not realized yet today, though, but for active safety. If you imagine a radar system in a car, it's about the size of a set-top box for your TV. And if you imagine the video system that does your rear camera or your side cameras, that too gets to be about the size of a set-top box. And in the future, and you see ADAS, and if you don't know, that means active driver assistance systems. In the future, you won't have an independent radar and an independent video system. They will be combined into a single system. So you'll reduce a lot of space, reduce a lot of cost, and also allow for video images taken from four sides of the car to be combined with radar images taken from four sides of the car, and most likely in the future, infrared sensors checking to see if there's a human, a warm body, whether it's a human or a dog, I don't think matters, but, and combining all that information into a single view that then can be intelligently analyzed by the vehicle or by a chip in the car to avoid collisions, to avoid driver error, accidents. That's what we're working towards, is zero fatalities. And that's what everybody in the automotive industry is thinking about today, is how do we take the vehicular life of human beings to a zero fatality goal? And another example of where RCP leads to innovation and medical advances is the digestible pill. So instead of having a camera with a tube pushed down your throat for a medical examination, with RCP you can have power, wireless connectivity, camera, and a whole bunch of different necessary components to create a medical diagnostic pill that you swallow rather than having an invasive procedure like having a camera pushed down your throat. Okay, and these are exactly what we're talking about when we say powering a smarter future today. RCP, medical innovation, ADAS systems, that's exactly what we mean at Freescale by powering a smarter future today. I'm not going to go into detail because we talked about it before, but the ongoing miniaturization, not only of the microchip, but of the package, and the combination of multiple chips in a single package is leading to that dreamed future of humanoid robots and robots that think. And a solution that we have today, which is a very exciting development for all of us who carry around battery-powered devices, is wireless charging. And Freescale has an innovative, market-leading wireless charging solution, which again is why we're here today, to power a smarter future. So I want to say thank you. I was afraid that I wouldn't have enough to talk about to take up all the time, and it seems like I talked more than MK wanted me to. So I'm going to stop talking now, but OGT on this slide, as you can see below, says one great team. And one great team is not Freescale Korea, it's not Freescale Japan and Korea, it's not Freescale worldwide. One great team means Freescale, our ecosystem partners, our distributors, our customers, and you, the media, all working together to create a smarter future. Thank you very much. Okay, I think one of the main reasons why I've been asked to participate in the Freescale Korea business is because I have a really big mouth. And what's been missing in Freescale Korea has just been recognition at the headquarters level of how important and how vibrant and how innovative a market this is. And so largely I'm an ambassador or a spokesperson for Korea and for Freescale Korea at our headquarters level, but also another really pleasantly surprising outcome from my first 3 months at Freescale Korea is the amount of synergy that exists between Freescale Korea and Freescale Japan. 75% of the consumer business in the world sits in Korea and Japan. So customers in Korea as well as customers in Japan are looking for many of the same solutions. And so by combining those two markets, we hope to be able to get the products that both our Korean customers and our Japanese customers require so that they can win in the global marketplace. And I want to just correct one thing that I heard in the question, which is that Japan and Korea have been combined. And that's not true. It's my responsibility to make both markets successful, but my position is I don't want to combine Japan and Korea. I want Korea to have its own identity, to have its own face, its own voice, its own numbers on a spreadsheet rather than being combined with anyone else's because the potential here is so great. And what I said about having a big mouth, I do usually talk a lot and I talk loud, but I'm also a fighter. And if I think that something is right for our corporation, I'll take it to our CEO and I won't stop until we get what's right for Freescale Korea, we get what's right for our Korean customers, and what's right for Freescale Korea, what's right for our Korean customers is right for Freescale at a global level, and that's what I meant by having it. As I said before, our business is very transparent. We know exactly, I can tell you within $4 or $5 million of what our revenue will be in 2014. And I can tell you within $10 or $15 million what our revenue will be in 2015. 2012, I think one of the reasons I believe that revenues went down in 2012 is because of the effect of the Lehman shock in 2009. We, as I mentioned before, are on a very long cycle, and with 40+% of our business worldwide in automotive, and in Korea, I believe half of our business is in automotive. The downturn of 2009, 3 years later, impacted us in 2012. And I've seen that not only in Korea, but in other markets. And we know in 2013 that the work we did together as a team in Korea in 2010, in 2011, and in 2010 and 11 are leading to great growth in revenue 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's the difference.
하나만 잠깐 코렉션 해드릴게요. 매출액이 줄어든 게 아니고 성장률이 줄어든 거죠. 그거 약간 의미가 다른 거니까.
Let me make a correction. Revenue itself, the amount didn't go down, the percentage of growth.
예, 차트에 보시는 거는 저희 성장률을 보여드린 겁니다. 그러니까 프리스케일 코리아는 매출액이 줄어든 적은 없어요. 2009년 이후로 쭉 계속 성장하고 있었고요. 지금 여러분한테 보여줬던 그 차트는 그런 형태로 계속 성장을 해왔다는 거고요. 2011년에 11% 정도까지 성장을 했었고 2010년에 45% 빅점프를 했었죠. 그리고 이제 성장률이 좀씩 줄어들었던 것이고 올해 들어서 다시 좀 큰 성장률을 회복하는 겁니다.
사실 질문은 성장률 회복하게 된 계기나 올해 전망이 좋게 나온 이유 이런 걸 좀 여쭤보고 싶어요.
그 부분은 데이비드도 설명을 했지만 약간 비즈니스에 사이클릭한 게 있어요. 주기를 좀 타는 경향이 좀 있고요. 저희가 9년, 10년, 11년 까지 일을 열심히 한 것의 그 아웃풋이 올해부터 나오기 시작합니다. 그래서 보시면 알겠지만은 상당히 스테디하게 17, 16, 15년 정도 그런 형태로 성장률이 나오는 것이 그동안 저희가 한 일들이 바탕이 돼서 그렇게 나오는 거거든요.
어떤 일을 하셨는지 구체적으로 설명해 주시면
Can you explain in detail what kind of activities have been done in 2010 and 2011? Because in your answer you said that the team has done a great job in 2010 and 11, and it led to a
It's clear. It's a simple answer. Introducing our products to customers, introducing products that are better than the competitors for one reason or another, winning the designs, and making sure that we have the best employees in the marketplace. As I mentioned earlier, we have a very broad portfolio, including analog, including sensors, including microcontrollers and SOCs and RF. And one of our competitive advantages that makes the red ocean turn more blue is the fact that we're able to combine sensors with a microcontroller. We're able to combine a microcontroller with analog. We're able to combine various heterogeneous components of a system together, where some of our competitors may only have sensors, or they may only have microcontrollers, or they may only do analog. We do all of those, and by combining them intelligently in a single package, and sometimes in a single chip, we differentiate ourselves dramatically from the competition. Okay. I need this. Well, clearly automotive is going to remain our focus. But that doesn't mean we're going to reduce our focus on digital networking. I mean, we're living in a world of converging market segments. Consumer is quickly moving its way into the automotive, and medical is moving, what you used to have to go to the hospital to have your glucose tested or to do other things that you can now do at home. So it's the convergence of consumer and industrial and networking and automotive that is really changing the paradigm for semiconductor businesses. And you mentioned about OEMs. We have a very strong relationship with Hyundai, Kia Motors in Korea. I think we're very famous for having incredibly strong relationships with the big three in Detroit. And we have very strong relationships with the major auto manufacturers in Europe. And even today in Japan, we have direct sales calling on Toyota, Honda, and Nissan. So you're absolutely right. Relationships with the tier ones are incredibly important, but in today's world of converging technologies, the OEMs look a little bit farther out into the future than the tier ones do. So us working with the OEMs as well as the tier ones is absolutely critical for us to remain dominant in the automotive segment. 100 would be nice, but we'll be happy. Actually, it's not a healthy marketplace to have anybody too dominant. And so I would think a healthy market share for Freescale in the Korean automotive market would be between 30 and 40%, which would be significant growth from today, but very attainable. If you look at our business in Europe, if you look at our business in America, we exceed 30% market share in those regions. And let me be clear, growing share in the automotive market is very time consuming and very resource intensive. You have to have a lot of people, you have to spend a lot of money on the appropriate R&D, and then you have to wait for the 4 or 5 year cycles to repeat themselves. But I would guess, 10, 15 years out, our business in automotive in Korea could easily be the #1 share of automotive in the Korean automotive market. Our business in Korea is about 2/3 of our business in Japan. Thank you. We had 55 3 months ago, and now we have 60. And I would expect with our growth expectations for the Korean market that we'll be approaching 100 employees in Korea in the 2016-17 timeframe. There's no magic recipe. The chips don't sell themselves, the software doesn't write itself, the package doesn't solve the engineering problems. It's about people, and that's why I keep talking about people. We'll continue to hire the best people in the marketplace, and we'll continue to grow our sales force in Korea aggressively. Well, it is the case that today we have joint R&D going on with a large Korean automobile manufacturer or a subsidiary of an automotive manufacturer. I can't talk about things that are not already signed and in contract, but as I mentioned earlier, this is all about the ecosystem, and the ecosystem includes our customers and our customers' customers. And so we are looking for opportunities to partner with Korean ecosystem partners, with Korean tier ones, as well as with Korean OEMs, in order to work together from the ground up to build the next revolution in semiconductor and automotive innovation, as well as consumer innovation. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. It's just today we happen to have a R&D program in automotive, but we definitely are interested in having an R&D R&D activity in both networking, industrial, and consumer. It's just about finding the right partners and putting the right agreement in place. Today, RCP is being utilized for certain military applications. So it's already commercially available, but for specific military applications. I think you'll start seeing RCP utilized in automotive as well as consumer products in 2014-15. But it'll be very specific applications, either with significant miniaturization requirements or manufactured in significant volume. RCP is not a cheap package, but as a part of a complete solution, it's much cheaper to use RCP than standard technologies because of all the reasons that I mentioned earlier. And if you're interested in RCP, in the future, we'll be happy to come and give you a technical introduction to RCP. With regards to fixed investments, we haven't made any firm decisions about where we'll place those investments. But when I talk about investing in Korea, I'm really focusing on manpower and getting more people, great people, and the most expensive input to any production engine is the people. And so that's where we'll focus our investments going forward, is in more and great people.
Before you came.
No, the growth trajectory for Freescale Korea has had that steep a curve before I came to the team. It's my job to work with YH to make sure we deliver the results. I'm spending most of my life in airplanes and hotels. I spend about 40% of my time in Japan, 40% of my time in Korea, and 20% of my time visiting Korean and Japanese customers in their foreign offices.
조금 전에 프리스케일 코리아의 부족한 단점 말씀하셨던가요? 특별한 건 없습니다. 프리스케일 코리아에 제가 부임했을 때 저희 스태프들 다 능력 있는 분들이었고 다 어떤 목표를 갖고 일을 하고 있던 분들인데 약간 방향성의 문제가 있을까요? 뭐 그런 약간 물론 문제점이 있었죠. 저희가 했던 일은 우리가 잘하는 분야에 열심히 해서 우리 경쟁력 있는 분야에서 일단 마켓쉐어를 창출해서 이끌어 나가자가 기본 방침이었어요. 이제 많이 비즈니스키웠던 부분들이 이제 오토모티브하고 네트워크 부분들이 많이 컸고 그 결과가 쭉 꾸준히 성장세로 나왔고 2015년까지 나오는 것도 거의 대부분 그쪽에서 나오는 것들입니다. 향후에 바라보고 있는 거는 꾸준히 성장을 하다가 보니까 이제 마켓쉐어도 많이 늘었고 경쟁사들도 많이 저희 이 파일을 뺏기 위해서 많이 하는데 디펜딩 하는 게 하나의 큰 목적이 하나 있고요. 이 마켓쉐어를 유지하는 것 자체도 상당히 이제 힘든 일이 됐습니다. 그리고 나서 저희 나름대로 이제 새로운 시장을 찾는데 굉장히 주력하고 있습니다. 새로운 시장이라는 게 그냥 단순히 뭐 컨슈머나 인더스트리 그냥 그런 시장을 들어가는 게 아니라 지금은 레이드 오션으로 펼쳐 있는 시장에 저희가 들어가서 거기서 파이를 뭐 어느 정도 뺏어오거나 하는 그런 식의 경쟁은 아니고요. 좀 더 다른 앵글로 시장을 바라보면은 어디든지 항상 숨어 있는 블루 마켓이 보이더라고요. 네. 그런 시장을 찾아서 공략해 나가는 게 향후 전략입니다. 저도 항상 비슷한 생각을 갖고 있는데요. 현대 사회에서 그 기본적인 마켓 개척의 컨셉이 기존에 있는 시장에서 어떤 그 하나의 파일을 갖고 오는 게 마켓 컬티베이션이고 뭐 그런 개척이라고 저는 생각 안 하고요. 현재의 시장의 창출은 없는 것을 만들어내는 것이 그 현재 마케팅의 기본 그 행태라고 저는 판단하고 있습니다. 그래서 저희 전 직원들한테 항상 얘기하기를 뭐 기존에 있는 데를 찾아다니려고 하지 말고 없는 거를 찾아봐라라는 얘기도 많이 하고 있고요. 저희 회사의 강점이 프로세싱이 굉장히 강한 회사입니다. 프로세싱이 강하다는 회사는 거의 모든 어플리케이션에 다 적용할 수 있다라는 뜻이죠. 그래서 항상 새로운 마켓이 창출되고 새로운 비즈니스 모델이 발견됐을 때 거기에 쉽게 적응을 시킬 수가 있습니다. 그러한 강점이 있죠. 그래서 제가 생각하고 있는 이런 그 블루마켓의 크리에이션부터 시작해서 거기에 맞는 비즈니스 모델을 만들어내고 적용시키는데 상당히 적합합니다.
Specifically for automotive, I think you'll start seeing A53, A55 and above chips in automobile infotainment from 2017, 2000, I mean, because it's already 2013. Even if we had the chips today, you'd still need 3 to 4 years out. So I think the earliest you'll see those cores in vehicles will be 2017. Okay. All right. I don't think it won't be an overshoot, and I'll tell you why. And this is my personal opinion. For luxury vehicles, people who buy luxury vehicles want their time in their car to be as comfortable and as high tech as their living room. And so what people have in their living room, they will eventually want to have in their cars. And even today, you've got high definition screens in certain European vehicles. I think it's the Tesla who has a 14 or 16 inch screen at high definition. They're coming close to 4K, 2K. There's no overshooting. The car is your second home for many people in this world. And so there's always more function. I mean, you're referring to infotainment. Well, the infotainment solution of tomorrow will be the same solution as the metering cluster. So if there's more power in that SoC, then that'll be used both for infotainment and navigation and metering cluster. And if the processors become powerful enough, the same board, the same chip may be utilized for some aspects of ADAS. So there's no overshooting, I don't think, not in this case. Right. RCP is a form of 3D packaging. It is a hybrid of standard 3D packaging. So it uses a lot of the same core technologies, but what we call RCP was created in-house, and we've got intellectual property and patents around it. And so just one final comment, because I think it's interesting that our first question from the young lady here in the front about the red ocean and your question about RCP are a perfect way to start and a perfect way to end our press conference, because RCP is one of the killer technologies that Freescale has that allows us to not have to swim in the red ocean, because RCP is only Freescale's and it is a differentiator. Thank you. And so to close the conference, I just wanted to say to everyone, so just in closing, I wanted to say thank you all for coming and spending the morning and lunch hour with us. The key messages from today are, you're going to see a much more aggressive posture for Freescale in Korea. You'll see us hiring aggressively. You'll see us partnering aggressively with local companies, and hopefully I'll see more of you in the future. So thank you very much for your time today.